Hi, I'm Greg Cummings, CEO of Power100, and today we are sitting down with Mark, the leader of Redo Cabinets in the greater Chicagoland area, and Dominic Caminata, CEO of Grosso University, and as you all know, the number 4 nationally ranked strategic partner in 2024. Welcome to PowerChat, guys.
Thanks for having us, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Greg.
Absolutely. It looks like you guys are both over there at the Grosso University HQ. Is that right?
Yeah, Mark was generous enough to drive up here from the greater Chicagoland area, and got the honor of having him in my presence physically. So it's going to be a really great conversation.
Sweet. Awesome. Before we get started, before we get into it, I agree. I think it is going to be a pretty good one. Let me just kind of share with the audience how we got here. So we're here because Mark and Dom, yes, they're both great leaders, of course. But also, when great leaders come together, these guys are an example of what can happen when great people actually work with each other and they're open to each other's strengths. But before we get into that, as far as Power100 goes, we are a national publishing company that focuses on the home improvement space. Now, within that space, we rank the top 100 CEOs. We also rank the top 15 strategic partners. And we also have a couple other lists with manufacturers and financial institutions coming out here in July as well. But we are looking forward to helping the best leaders in the home improvement space. This way we can help every single homeowner across the United States. However, as a 100% third-party unbiased platform, we can't directly help every homeowner in the United States. So we rely on giving a stage and a platform to the absolute best. Now, why are we sitting down with Grosso University? Because Grosso University has the ability to help hundreds of other CEOs that are helping those homeowners across the United States. So we want to reward guys like that and companies like these two that are doing the right thing day in and day out. To kind of kick us off, Mark, would you mind introducing yourself and a brief overview of why Redo Cabinets is expected to have such a strong year this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, thanks for having me. My name is Mark Olsen. I'm the leader of Redo Cabinets, located out of the greater Chicagoland area. We specialize in cabinet refacing, or what we like to call kitchen cabinet restyling. We are seeing a huge growth this year. And I'd like to say I point a lot of the success I'm having through Grosso University. It hasn't been all rainbows and sunshine leading up to now. There has been a lot of ups and downs, but it's persistence. It's a lot of mentoring with Dominic and his team and keeping my eye on the goal. But at the same time, it has a lot to do with leadership. It has a lot to do with putting the right people on the bus in this company and learning when to say enough's enough for certain employees. So it is a people-focused business. And when you get the right people plugged and played, the sky's the limit. And accountability. And having Dominic on my side, mentoring me a lot about that, process and accountability to your employees really can do wonders for the long term. And it has shown tenfold. So
awesome. That's good to hear. And I'm going to get into a little bit more of that. I have all these questions that I want to ask you out of your introduction, but I'm going to hold those back this way. Dom, it's great to see you again. As most of you probably already saw, we popped in, we flew up to Madison, Wisconsin. We popped in on Dom during one of his live closer camps.
Yeah, in the middle of virtual closer camp.
Yeah, awesome. I thought you guys cut the camera there, but you didn't. So I had the opportunity to address whatever hundreds and hundreds of people were on that call, which was actually ended up being pretty cool. Then following that, we had the opportunity to come back and sit down with Dom, where we were able to have a one-on-one interview where we were able to really learn a lot more about Dominic and his leadership style, as well as Grosso University and everything they have to offer. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check that out as well. But yeah, like I said, Dom, great to see you again, man, and excited to kind of sit down and hear a little bit more from your perspective. Can you give a brief overview of Grosso University to the audience, maybe people who don't know maybe who you are, as well as How did you meet this guy? When did you and Mark first cross paths? What was that first interaction like?
It's a cool thing is I founded Grosso University in 2019. I had the honor and privilege of taking over the legendary legacy of Rick Grosso. He was a mentor of mine. As a matter of fact, when I first entered the industry in 2010, it was the Rick Grosso sales methodology that led me to 3 consecutive Salesman of the Year recognitions. And of course, one thing I took credit for is mastering the Grosso system early in my career. And then in 2012, just a few years later, after being, in sales for the first time, I got my hands on the steering wheel as a sales leader. And simply by following the Grosso system and training my team and empowering them and holding them accountable for mastery of it, I was able to build a $100 million sales powerhouse. But throughout that entire journey, my dream and my goal was always not just to master the Grosso system, but take over Rick Grosso's legacy as a leading trainer and consultant in the home improvement space. And Mark, that's when I first met him. We actually had our first ever closers camp in 2019 in Chicago. And we kind of came out with a bang. We invested buku dollars and all this AV and sound system and special effects. And as a matter of fact, the very first thing I did at my first event was I sang karaoke to Freddy Mercury, "We Will Rock You." That's the first thing I did. I'm sure everyone thought, like, who's this maniac coming out of the gate that nobody knows?
I haven't heard that story. Is there a video of that anywhere?
Yes. Yeah, we have the video of it.
Okay, we'll have to. Yeah, please do.
And, I did that because if I'm totally honest, I was nervous as hell. My first sales training event, we had like 250 people there. It was a pretty full house. And it was my first time speaking in front of that big of an audience. And I knew that if I were to throw myself out there and do something really crazy, like sing karaoke in front of everybody as the icebreaker, it would help me calm down and get focused so I can execute the training. And that's when Mark first saw me as basically doing a sales training event, Closers Camp in 2019. And we literally have been working together for about 5 years now, back and forth. And, the thing I admire about Mark, why I wanted him to be on the show or for this interview, is because to me, he's the definition of perseverance. This industry is not all sunshine and rainbows. A lot of owners go through some struggles and challenges. And, I always say the recipe for success is 1% talent, 1% luck, and 98% never give up. Thing I've admired about him is he's had a lot of obstacles in his professional career. And obviously, just like anybody, we all learn things through trial and error, but his focus on being optimistic, being positive, and never giving up, even when things are really hard, has been really admiring to watch and inspiring for me, to be honest with you. And I just want to be a wingman for him just to help guide him through this process. And that's the thing I try to be, because I was on the journey from 4 million to 100 million, growing a sales team. So I got to experience a lot of different trial and error, a lot of mistakes that I made. And I try to make sure that companies and owners alike don't have to make the same mistakes through trial and error, but just keep them positive, keep them motivated, keep them optimistic. But as you know, when you're helping somebody else, it helps you too. So having this relationship with Mark has really helped me stay positive, and he's an inspiring figure for me too.